We have today with us David Guzzone of Healthy Life Overall. And he's been doing this for quite some time in the health field. He loves to do one-on-ones, but he's got such an amount of experience to share. David, could you just give us a little bit of talk about your life journey and how you become an entrepreneur and what you're doing now?
Well, sure. Thanks, Mike. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to share with soon after college, I discovered that I was not going to be happy unless I did things my own way. I went into the workforce because I honestly, at the time, didn't know what else to do. Working for other people never really satisfied me. And my father always used to tell me, you have to be your own man. And that kind of stuck with me. And I was never really sure what he meant, or at least what I thought he meant, didn't quite jive with me until I started working for other people. And I went with my heart and what went with my gut. And at that time, I decided to quit the workforce and pursue a career in acting because that was something that I had always wanted to do, truly wanted to do. So I went the route of, waiting tables and doing small community theater wherever I could, and then I decided to step it up and barely a few bucks in my bank account. I drove cross country from New York, went to California, slept on a friend's couch, and got another job waiting tables. But I made my way in not too long a time. I got myself on television. I started booking some commercials. I started booking some television shows with speaking roles, actually, and started doing more serious theater. And I absolutely loved it. And there's a certain thrill of being an entrepreneur. It's kind of a high flying act without a net, because you're reliant on yourself. But what I would see from other people who were working in quote unquote safe careers, there was no job security. They got fired. They lost everything they had by the whim of somebody else or just in the matter of a second. And then it was hunting for another job to work for other people. So even though there were lots of ups and downs, as you can imagine, in an acting career, with only 1% of all union actors actually working consistently, uh,
Bro.
it's fun. I loved it. I met a lot of amazing people. I worked, and that led me to do other things. I got into production work. I got into some directing. I started coaching people in voiceover. So it opened up this whole other world. And the coaching comes into play later, where I was coaching people because I found that I was very good one on one with another individual, getting the most out of them, bringing the best out of them. I'm going to just say that's a natural talent of mine. Don't know where it came from, but I found that hey, I'm really good at this. If I trust my instincts when I'm speaking with a person and go with my gut, I'm good with another person one on one. So I left Los Angeles. I came back to New York. And again, at that point, after a decade or more of not being in any workforce, not having any kind of resume, and understanding that I'm going to have to recreate myself again on my own, I became a real estate agent, independent. I did work for a company, but when you work for a company in real estate, you're on your own. You're not getting a salary. It's all commissions, and you work for yourself. And then I wound up teaming up with a cousin, and we had our own boutique agency for a time, and we did well. But as I was becoming a father, as I prepared to bring my son home into this world, I knew that I didn't want to have the 7 day a week runaround that
Yeah.
that my life was. It was fine when I was on my own, and even when I was with my wife, when it was just the two of us, okay. But I wanted to have all of family, which for me means being present. So I was looking for a new career. I didn't know what it was going to be. But I did know that at the top of the list, I wrote on a piece of paper, what do you want to do? What makes you happiest? And what made me happiest in my life was working with people one on one, helping them. So that's where it started. And then the opportunity presented itself because I needed to revamp my health and get healthy because I'm an older dad. I'm 50 now. My son's 5.
No way. No
Yeah,
way. You're holding up really well. I love the story so far about the fact that you call your own shots was important. And then once the life changes, your wife and your relationship there and those wonder years you have before the child's born. And then when the child's born, it's a whole new game, isn't it? And
yep,
now you had to rewrite your life. And you went back to the things you knew you had discovered that were
yes.
great about yourself and what you can deliver to others. Just that ability to bring out the best out of people. And the coaching style, it was a natural for you, but you're putting in the hard work. You can have the skill, and obviously you've been putting in the work, but you're not showing it in age.
Well, had to lead by example because I kept telling myself
Yeah.
I was in disrepair, we'll say. I was filled with aches and pains. I was significantly overweight. I had no energy. I was sleeping poor. My eating habits were terrible. And I remember one day at 45 years old with my 1 year old son crawling all over me that, dude, when he's 10, I'm going to be 55. I feel terrible now. If I don't change for good,
Yeah.
this is not going to go well for either one of us. This boy deserves
Right.
to have an active, healthy father. And I found this program, and my coach, who helped me change my health habits, I knew and trusted, and he guided me through a program to help me get on the road to better health. And it was a perfect storm because at the same time I was looking for a new career, and it was explained to me that I could help people do what I was doing to rehab my health and create a fantastic lifestyle, helping others while supporting my family. And it just all came together. So, very soon into my own health journey, I became an apprentice coach and I started helping people do what I was doing. And that was
Did
4.5
you
years ago.
did you find a system, something that helped
Yes,
people progress on a one-on-one basis? What's that like, David?
absolutely. And you hit it right. System is right. People are good at following systems. And what we do as health coaches within my
Mhm.
organization, and I work one on one with all my clients, is we give people a system that they can follow, but at the same time, it's designed to put them in the driver's seat by little, creating healthy habits a little at a time. Because old habits die hard, as we know. And anybody who's ever said, I'm no longer going to do that bad habit, they may last for a certain amount of time with willpower alone, but that bad habit rears its ugly head. When it comes to creating new habits, you can't just go, I'm going to do this new healthy thing every day and I'm going to change my life. You may do well for a short period of time on willpower alone, but then you fall back. So, what I help my clients do is we identify, first of all, what are their goals? Where are they now? Where do they want to go? What's important to them about that? And then little by little implement doable habits that they can work into their busy lifestyles little by little by little. So it starts to become a part of them. So rather than, and here's a great example, and I don't do this, but here's a great example, real story of someone who went through my program, not one of my clients, an older woman. All she wanted to do was be able to pick up her grandkids. She was terribly out of shape, very overweight, very weak. She wanted to pick up her grandkids. So her coach famously told her, well, let's just start with one push up against the wall a day. Can you do that? She could do one push up against the wall a day. She realized that she could do a little bit more than one. So she would start do 5 push-ups, 6, 7 push-ups against the wall until eventually she was able to get down on her knees and do 1 or 2 push-ups on her hands. So the idea is when you're creating a new habit, whatever it is, you do so little each day that it doesn't matter your level of motivation. You can get that in. And then it starts to build and it starts to build. There's no difference with healthy habits around eating, with around healthy motion, with improving your sleep habits, with improving your reaction to stress, all of which our programs cover to create a sustainable, healthy lifestyle. But the system makes it simple for them to implement the little habits at a time as they go and they build and they build and they build. So it's absolutely brilliant. If a person really has a desire and a need, and they invest some time into it and understand that they don't have to reinvent everything all at once, what can happen?
So it's a systematic level of steps according to what their the condition is in, at the
That's
moment
right.
where you're
Where they are
starting. And then so you
right
really
now.
have to kind of get to know the person quite well and where their strengths and where their weaknesses are. And people have to open up. So they have to trust you. And obviously you've got that. You've got that knack. And that might come just from the waiting tables on both sides of the country, because I think being an actor, even servers are having to deliver hospitality, and the game is, how can I make that couple over there? How can I make their night very special for them? And what style should I be there at that table with? You don't want to take over the table. You're not taking all the conversation. It has nothing to do with that. It has to be with just being charming and being there, like they don't notice you when the plates are removed and stuff like that. They don't notice you, and then they see, that everything is there that that you called for. Uh, I knew a waiter one time that I watched him, and he would do a different act at every table. He was a different person. It was kind of schizophrenic. But I thought maybe he's practicing or something, acting. But he would be Captain Nemo at one table, and he'd be somebody else entirely different at another, and it was just amazing to watch this guy.
Well,
So,
you know,
yeah,
it's
so
fine.
it
Does
all
come
comes together.
yeah, one of the great things about my life experiences of being an entrepreneur and always working for myself and having to talk to new and different people, even when I didn't want to, was that you learn a lot about other people, and and that has all helped me become the coach that I am, because one, yes, I am good at helping people suss out what's important to them and getting them to say it and share it. People always tell you the things they want you to hear. They don't tell you the things they don't want you to hear. And it's
Right.
my job first to help you clarify what you don't want to say. Because when it comes to creating a healthy lifestyle, if your goal is just, oh, I just want to lose some weight. Okay, fine. You can do that on a diet. You'll lose some weight. You can do that, and you will instantly start putting your weight back on. But when the focus is on health and why that health is important to you, and who else benefits from it in your life, and what new things can you do with that new health besides just fitting a pair of jeans that you've been eyeing, then you have a much better chance of creating long-term sustainability. But everybody's different. I'm going to coach my 75-year-old clients different than my 30-year-old clients. And I'm going to coach my 100-pound overweight client different than my 20-pound overweight client. But it's all based on them and their needs and wants. And so sometimes I'm tough when I need to be. Sometimes I know this person just needs a lot of hand holding and a gentle touch, uh, because I want them to win. It's not about me. I'm
That's
just a guy.
that it's the sensibility of getting a good read on people's needs. But it sounds like you're reaching deep enough into showing that you care about the individual at a deeper level, so that so trust comes easily. And then you're coming across with accountability, if I understand how you've been putting this out here, so people know that you can help them with accountability. Yes, it's hard to get up when you don't feel like it. But if you have someone there that's in your corner and he's helped you understand your why,
Mhm.
the person that has over 100 pounds, their why. They have some things that are deep in there, why they want to get where they want to get. Picking up the grandchild, there's the why again. And I think you have an incredible leadership type of responsibility there, and you've been able to bring it down to a one-on-one basis. That's fantastic. Now, I understand you have some other skills here in sales, and that you do possibly some sales training. And then, you're also helping, people network together. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
It all comes down to the same thing, is finding out what a person needs and wants and then helping
Mhm.
them achieve it. whether a sales coach or running a networking community, it comes down to the same thing. What is it that you want to get out of this? And why do you need that? And then from there, okay, well, okay, now we can figure out how you get from where you are right now to where you want to go. When it comes to sales, it's different for everyone. Somebody may be really, really, really great at connecting and generating leads for themselves, but they're terrible at converting those things. Some people may be
Yeah.
fantastic at just natural born closers, but they're terrible at the systems to get the people in front of them in order to close them. Right. So again, it depends on the person that you had in front of you. So it's like, hey, if you're already great at that, we don't have to worry about that. Let's not keep reinforcing closing if that's something you're very good at. But let's talk about how do you get more opportunities to have those people in front of you. And I will tell you, for me, when it comes to if I'm coaching sales or if I am if I'm helping someone uh, with their health goals or in networking, it's got to be mutually beneficial. I'm not
Yes.
going to take on somebody who just wants to do quick transactions or a quick XYZ just to make a buck. You know, I really only want to help people that have a much cheaper reason for doing what they want to do. Now, there's nothing wrong with transactional selling. That person is really doing it because they believe in what they're selling and they're also trying to provide for their family. That's there's a difference. There's a difference there. You understand? So, it
Yeah,
is
it's about strengthening the
doesn't help the
relationships
most
then,
possible.
and building the relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's fascinating. David, what are the best ways to reach you? Is it the website? Is it on LinkedIn? Or how do people reach you for maybe a conversation to check out the health system that you can
Sure.
help people on, or the other things that you do? What's the best way to contact you?
When it comes to I'll start with the health coaching. It's a very personal thing and everybody is different.
Yeah.
So, as crazy as it sounds, I don't have a website where for my health coaching business, and I'm very successful. I've been doing it for 4.5 years. And it works this way because sending a person to a website to look at health programs, I don't see the value in that. Well, you can't online shop for a health coach, someone who's there to be your guide, your accountability partner, and your cheerleader. It's got to be a working relationship. So what I do is I send people a link where they can find my link and to a free health assessment, and it takes
Oh,
5 or
very
10
good.
minutes where a
Yeah.
person talks about where they are, where they would like to be, what their challenges are, what their struggles are. And so that when that will come to me, and then I will have the best understanding of how I can help them, or at least a much better head start as to what the right kind of program may be for them. And then we just have a free conversation where we discuss it to see if it's a fit. Now, I may be in sales training, but one thing I never do is try to close somebody on doing a health program with me. A person has to be ready. They have to need it. They have to want to make the changes. If I close somebody who's not ready, I'm not doing them any favor. It's not a trinket. It's not a gizmo that they can use and then throw away. This is what I'm selling is health, hope, and happiness. And I mean that sincerely.
So
Try to,
the assessment, David,
yes,
the assessment then is critical.
it's
It's the
absolutely
first
critical.
step.
Absolutely critical. Yeah. I believe that everybody deserves to feel as good as I have learned you can feel consistently.
Is that is that something you send something for people to fill out, or do you get in front of them, or
I
do
like
you do a
to fill it
Zoom
out. I
like
help people
this,
all over
or
the country. Yeah, I don't,
all over the country? Very good. So it doesn't matter where you're at.
doesn't matter where you are. I had clients in all corners of the US. And I
Beautiful.
sometimes people will in my social media, they'll find my link or it's a referral from one of my other clients, or I'll meet somebody in the street and we get to talking and they say, well, what do you do? And we get to it and I'll say, here, I'll text you my health assessment. And when they're ready, they send it to me. So I'm not chasing after anyone, it just, I lead by example. I lead with my own health. I'm very vocal about my active, healthy lifestyle. And if people want that for themselves, they let me know when they're ready.
David, that's a good qualifier right there. I mean, if they're not filling out the form, why are you wasting your time?
Yeah,
So if they're willing to do that, then they're anticipating a sit down with you, whether that's online, and you can do a lot like that.
absolutely.
Uh,
And
yeah,
then
I
at
just
the end of
yeah,
it, I let people know whenever you're ready, I'll be here to coach you. And sometimes that's right away. Sometimes people come back to me in 6 months. I've had people come back to me a year later and say, you know what? I've never forgotten that conversation and all that we have to offer, all my program has to offer, besides the coach. We have community of support. We have tools. We have actual programs to help people move past, the typical weight loss phase to how do I maintain and optimize my health? We offer so much that people remember that and they say, it's been a year. I'm no further down the road than I was before. And so I think I'm ready to join the program. I'm happy to help them at any time. So I can share
the
my link
strength.
and distribute.
Okay, yeah, very good. So that uh, I'll ask you later for some contact information. I'll be sure that we get it into the YouTube on on the outro screen and into the description. So if you could be kind to send me the main way of getting hold of you, and maybe the description that this is to take this health assessment is here, that kind of thing. Or if you have a calendar that people can set up a time, those would be, I think, the best tools from what you've told me. But uh, let's get that into into the people's hands for sure. Oh, this has been great. This has been great, David, to get to know what you're doing and that you're working with a very methodical system, but yet it's customized to the individual.
That's right.
So no matter where you are in your health, whether you're 92 or 12, with being overweight at 12 is definitely a problem. Being
Yes,
92 and frail is a different problem. And yet, if you have a system that looks at both ends of the scale of the life journey, people are uh, they're a true asset in people's lives. It's just being at the right place at the right time with the right commitment.
can I share something with you real quick before we wrap up?
Yes, please. Yes.
Touch on something that's very important to me, and it's what drives me as a health coach is childhood obesity. This concerns me greatly, and it's a big problem in our country. And so my mission is to help adults understand how to live healthy lifestyles so that it transfers to their children. Because if a child can learn to live a healthy lifestyle at a young age, they can really learn it through the example of their parents, they're set for life. Unfortunately, so many parents, and I don't mean this to be harsh, but it's true. Most parents will tell you they will do anything for their kids except get healthy. The problem is most parents don't know how. It's not that they wouldn't or don't want to, but in this busy lifestyle, in this busy society that we have, they don't know how. And there's so much information out there, and there's weight loss drugs, and and this crazy injection, or this root from the Amazon, or this give us $10,000, and this bariatric surgery. No, I'm teaching a lifestyle that is incredibly inexpensive to get healthy because we do it starting just with simple nutrition. Anybody can afford because they're feeding themselves already, and that's where we start. And if
Perfect.
parents can learn how to transfer those skills to their children, we can save the next generation. It happens one person at a time, but that is what really gets me out of bed in the morning and wants me to keep furthering this message.
Well, kids are coming up with more allergies and different things that just wasn't that prevalent back then. We think it might be the phone, it might be, computer games and not getting outside. When we played outside and we were out in the dirt, you built up your immunity, a much stronger base of your immunity, I would think.
Yes.
So you're addressing that sort of thing, very much so, very much so. Thank you, David, for the time today. It's
Thank you,
been
Mike.
awesome. And certainly we'll talk to you again.
I hope so.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.